Growing heat and humidity will be fuel for thunderstorms over the course of the next couple of days. Will these storms impact your fireworks forecast? I have that answer.
Plus, the state legislature passes and Governor Evers signs the state budget in the early hours. What it means for the next 2 years.
And later, many people are preparing to celebrate the 4th with a bang, but not all fireworks are fair game, which products could land you a hefty fine. And we welcome you to News 3 Now at 6. Good evening, I'm Eric Franke.
And I'm Sarah Carlson. Thanks so much for watching.
And we start with the weather as the 4th of July travel period gets underway. It's not just the traffic that's heating up today.
That's right. Hot and humid conditions are also expected for the holiday weekend. For more, let's go to Chief Meteorologist Alex Harrington for a look at the first warn forecast. Alex?
Yeah, let's sweat right into it here as we go into the 4th of July. Some rain starting off early. We'll talk more about that rain chance in just a moment. We're going to get all the way up to 91 as we go into the afternoon hours of 4th of July. Par for course. It's often very warm and humid. Heat index values are going to approach 95 to 100 degrees. So as I always say, hydrate, hydrate, hydrate as we head in to the 4th of July. And the heat and humidity fuel for showers and thunderstorms. While I'm not expecting widespread severe weather tonight, heavy rainfall, gusty winds, small hail not out of the question, especially the heavy rainfall. I'll explain more about that momentarily. Live Queen Bee radio skycam showing some cumulonimbus clouds building up into the atmosphere. Scattered thunderstorms are already developing over portions of the west part of Grant County, west of Platteville and west of the Mississippi River out in northeast Iowa. Here in Dane County, nothing has popped up yet, but that will most certainly change as we go through the evening hours. We have a lake breeze coming in from the north and from the east. That's providing just a little bit of kick for some additional thunderstorms that are popping up over parts of Marquette and Green Lake counties. And as we move through the rest of the evening, Future Track is going to show a couple of thunderstorms this evening, but the main event's going to take place after 11 o'clock, heading towards the early morning hours when you join Savannah in the morning. Not expecting, again, widespread severe weather as we go into the overnight period, but these storms could line up one after another, so I'm reconsidering upping the potential for flooding rains for parts of the area. Coming up in Maine weather, we'll use Future Track to show thunderstorm chances all the way through the weekend. Will it impact your firework forecast? And just how high will the heat index values be in your neighborhood? Coming up.
All right, thank you, Alex. And you can track the forecast for yourself on our First Warn weather app. It has hourly planners, road conditions, and radar. You can download this for free in your phone's app store. Just search WISC weather.
The man accused in a poisoning plot could be close to getting out of jail. Court records show Paul Van Dyne's cash bonds in both Dane and Rock County have been signed. Van Dyne faces several charges in both counties, including attempted first-degree intentional homicide. Cash bonds of $37.7 million in Rock County, $10 million in Dane County were set during court hearings. As of now, Van Dyne is listed on the Dane County jail roster.
The chairman of the Chester Town Board, accused of choking a dog to death, has died himself. An obituary says Richard Van Buren died Wednesday from complications during surgery. Van Buren was charged in Dodge County with mistreatment of animals causing death. A woman had found a golden retriever and contacted the Humane Society. But because the dog was not found in an area that partners with the group, it directed her to the town's board chair, Van Buren. He allegedly used a leash to choke the dog. A large boost to childcare was among the sticking points of the biennial budget that Governor Tony Evers signed in the wee hours this morning.
That $330 million was the product of much compromise, but some childcare providers tell our Armand Rahman it gave up too much.
Lawmakers touted the newly signed budget as a win for Wisconsin's child care industry, but a smaller family child care provider in New Glarus tells me it's far too little, far too late.
I only have 2 children today. I decided that we'd have a little field trip and have some ice cream and, celebrate summer.
Corinne Hendrickson isn't just enjoying summer.
Enjoy these, what could be the last moments of this.
She's starting to have tough conversations with the parents she serves with Corinne's Little Explorers, her family childcare business.
I don't know that I'm going to be able to stay open.
Because while Governor Tony Evers' biennial budget has been applauded for getting the childcare industry back on track, she says
this wasn't enough.
The budget includes $123 million for the child care subsidy to lower out-of-pocket costs for working families.
Family child care, it's really not going to help. Group centers, small ones, probably not so much. Bigger ones, maybe, if they can get a full classroom.
That and more on top of $110 million in direct payments to providers like Hendrickson.
It's less than what we're getting right now every month, and it ends next June, and there's no chance of getting more funding after that because our legislative body will not be in session until after the elections.
She says this is just kicking the can down the road for another year.
This is a quality of life issue in Wisconsin.
Child care providers and advocates asked for $480 million and got $330 million. But political analyst Brandon Scholes says that took a lot of compromise behind the scenes.
They probably weren't going to get nearly as much as what they got in this negotiated amount.
Scholes says after COVID, the child care industry was understandably overwhelmed and the state needed to help it get on its feet. But now...
And in fact, is the state going to subsidize childcare? That's a very competitive dollar, because when childcare industry is asking for $400+ million, public schools are asking for billions, charter schools and food share programs.
It really feels like we're being gaslit and being told that what we're understanding and reading isn't true.
Reporting in New Glarus, Armand Rahman, News 3 Now.
Armand, thank you. And also included in the budget, a statewide film office and a $5 million tax incentive to productions that hire and film in Wisconsin. Advocates in the industry say it's something they've been pushing for more than a decade. Although it's a first step, Wisconsin still trails neighboring states like Illinois and Minnesota. Wisconsin screenwriter Michael Graff says the new incentive likely isn't big enough to attract major productions, but will help small independent productions.
We will attract small indie projects, homegrown projects that will definitely have an impact on Wisconsin arts, Wisconsin local economy, and help build local infrastructure.
And before the governor signed the budget, Wisconsin was one of just 13 states without a film incentive, one of just 3 without a statewide film office.
The Madison Fire Department is investigating a pair of fires at a north side playground as potential arson. The fires happened at Lindbergh Elementary on Kenny Road. The first was at about 5:30 last night. Crews found evidence that the fire burned through the top of a slide. The second fire was reported then at 7 o'clock. Firefighters say they found flames and smoke engulfing that playground. They needed about 300 gallons of water to put it out. Well, the 4th of July is tomorrow, and people are getting ready to barbecue and watch the fireworks.
It's important to remember the do's and don'ts, of course, of fireworks. Our Tanisha Shaw talked to local police departments here in Dane County.
Fireworks will take over the sky for the 4th of July. It's important to know which fireworks are legal and which ones aren't in the Madison metro area. I'm here at a pop-up tent in Middleton, and it's important to know which ones to buy to avoid a ticket.
Sparklers, snaps, caps, and snakes
are the only legal fireworks in the Madison metro area.
Generally speaking, if something leaves the ground, that's going to be a hazard, and those are the things that are prohibited by ordinance.
We will have extra patrols going through pretty much most of most of Madison, with some emphasis on Elver and Gardner Park.
The Madison Police Department wants to avoid another incident like what happened at Elver Park in 2024.
While fireworks that shoot up are really cool, they can create some safety hazards for other people, especially if they shoot towards a building or shoot towards like a dried out wooded area.
Because of the unsanctioned fireworks, a Madison police officer was hit and thankfully only had minor injuries. But situations like this can turn deadly, and tickets can cost nearly $400.
Like I said, we will have officers obviously patrolling Madison. We will have some extra staffing just due to it being the 4th of July to address any issues in the parks.
A Middleton police captain understands that people want to enjoy the holiday, but asks that everyone complies with officers.
So we want to educate and, again, get that voluntary compliance. If people are going to willfully not comply, particularly after that effort, we aren't afraid to issue citations.
All of the agencies that I talked to said that safety is their priority, and when in doubt, make sure that you call the fire or police department. Reporting in Middleton, Tanisha Shaw, News 3 Now.
All right, thank you, Tanisha.